Hi, thanks for watching. Today we're going to be painting the sand dollar, and what I did was I traced it and I kept the value study so I can look at it while I'm painting, and with the value study I could see where it's dark and light easier than if I'm looking at the color picture. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. I traced it. We're going to be painting with a lot of water. This is a very light painting. We're going to start with some yellow ochre. And I'm just going to, once again, I'm going to have this piece of paper so I could check the colors before I put them on here. And the yellow ochre with a little bit of brown will give me the color that I would like. And if you are new to watercolor, just know that it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to paint the entire sand dollar with the light wash of this warm beige. I'm using a very soft brush with mostly water. Now you're thinking sand dollars are white. Well, yeah, they are. But we're not just going to leave this all white. There's shadows. Everything that's white really isn't just white. If you look at it, you'll see they do reflect different colors. So what I will do is off a little bit of this color. I'm going to clean off my brush, and right in the center I'm going to pull some of the color off, maybe with a heavier brush here, one that's not as soft. So it is a lighter beige around where the sand dollar is lighter. I'll clean that off. Okay, now what I need to do is dry this before I continue painting. So give me one. Now I like to have a Kleenex in my hand when I'm painting, so I could always wipe off my brush when I need to. And we are going to, now that it's dry, we can paint the flower parts, the petals. And I'm going to use a very light gray with the brown. So let's see here, I need it lighter. This is light brown and gray color. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to come in here and just paint the edges. Okay, and I'm going to have a second brush so I can blend everything. This is a clean brush, and I'm just blending the colors. So there it's a little darker around the edge. Blend it. Keep it darker around the edge. So I have these seashells and seabirds on my Etsy shop, Printables by Loretta. You can see I do have that listed on my YouTube, where you can just hit the link and you receive a photo, reference photo, tracer, and instructions, and I usually have them on sale, so they're not very expensive. They end up costing about $3 or so, $2, $3, and it's just a fun way to practice your painting. If you have been painting a long time, you still might have fun with it. Just gives you new ideas of what to paint, and I think you'd enjoy it. So check out my Etsy store. And I'm just putting these in. And there we go, there's that. Now what I'd like to do is add some of the little lines in here. So I'm going to use, if This is dry. And if you're wondering what I use to dry so fast, I don't use a hair dryer because it will blow everything around. It's I do have that listed also, what I use. I can't remember what it's called right at this second. Okay, so what we need here is some little dots. Instead of lines, we're just putting little dots here that the sand dollar has inside. And I'm using Payne's Gray. Yeah, I just found out about this drying tool, and it's so great. It dries watercolors so fast, doesn't make a lot of noise, it doesn't blow everything around, and it's just really nice. Now we're going to come here. I'll show it to you in a minute. I'm just going to outline this with that gray. It's Payne's Gray, by the way. This is a fun, easy painting to do. I love painting. It just takes you into another world. Daydream about being at the beach while you paint this. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of shadowing with this Payne's Gray. And we're just going to make this, let's add some brown to the gray. Okay, I'm going to just make these a little dark. There's a little more value in here, a little darker color inside. So I want to add that. Sometimes it's nice just to grab a dry brush, well, it's just damp, just to blend that a little. To bring this around. And let's do this one. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to come in with this little brush here just to kind of soften everything. There's no paint on here. I'm just softening the lines. All right, so now what we need to do is do the edge and put a little bit of shadow on the sand dollar. I'm using that brown with the Payne's Gray again. And I'm going to put a little more brown. I don't want it very dark, but I'm going to come around with this soft brush. And I've got to move kind of quickly because I don't really want this to just be a circle. I want to blend the paint. So I'm coming around kind of fast, and I'm going to wet my brush, dry it off a little, but try to pull some of this color if it hasn't dried too much. It's kind of dry. So I added a little bit of color, and we're going to pull it into the sand dollar so it's not just a heavy line there. Okay, let's just try pulling it a little more. Okay, so what happened was the paint dried really fast. I'm here in Idaho and it's real dry. It's high desert. So my paint tends to dry really fast here, which can be difficult with watercolor, but doing the best I can. So I'm wetting the whole thing to try to get rid of those lines. I came from California where it was nice and humid in the San Francisco area. Not humid, but it sure wasn't dry like here. So it took me a while to realize, why is this so hard to paint here? And that's why. Things dry really fast, so you end up with these lines you don't want. So you just play with it, add more water, add a little more paint. Just keep playing with it. Don't be afraid of watercolor. Let it do what it wants. Try to tell it what to do once in a while and have fun with it. You could always come back and glaze over things later. Anyway, So that's our sand dollar. Now I do like to put things, I don't like floating items. So I'm going to put a shadow down here with this brown and gray so that we have it anchored onto the paper. So darker where it's sitting. And then lighter. Okay, and there's sand dollar. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And I hope you watch some of my other paintings. Thank you.